Hello, everyone. This is Renee Rentmeester. I'm the creator and executive producer of the Cooking Without Looking TV show and podcast. And we are going to have a blast today. Um, we have Ann Hatton from the Lighthouse of the Palm Beaches with us today. And I think there's going to be a lot of laughing here, Ann.
I do too.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. And first of all, I want to congratulate you. You're a newlywed.
Yes, first of all, Renee, thank you so much for this opportunity to join you this morning. This is, like you say, just a great honor, and thank you for that. And yes, I am a newlywed, not a first-time bride, but a newlywed. So thank you for that. Um, I guess you kind of want to know where we started from, something like.
Yeah. How did you meet each other?
When I first moved over to the Fort Myers Beach, Florida area, I live in Cape Coral. I started orientation and mobility with the Lighthouse of Southwest Florida. And the mobility instructor, we did all of that. And I'm a chatter, so you get to know me. And he said, "Hey, I have this really nice former client, and can I give him your phone number?" Well, nothing developed for quite a while, and over time, he contacted me, and he had a guide dog, and I had a guide dog, and we picked a location to meet, and then walked to a restaurant. So that was like our first get together. Then I ghosted him for 6 months.
Oh, no.
I wasn't ready. He was like all ready to date, and I'm like, oh no, no, I'm looking for just a friend. So we went back and forth for nearly 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, but
Patience.
yeah, we start. Yeah, I always tease him. He chased me until I caught him. So, but yeah, we started dating about a year and a half ago, and I guess back in April 19th to be exact. It was the Saturday before Easter, and I had a girlfriend coming over from West Palm and family, and Easter was at my house. And as you know, I love cooking, which is how you and I have become to be such good friends. So I was preparing and doing things at home, and he's like, meet me up on the corner. We're going to go to Walgreens. I'm like, can we do it later? I mean, Renee, picture it. I had on my oldest shorts. My hair was up in a messy bun on top of my head, needed washing 2 days before. And I am get my guide dog, my shoes. I am griping, talking to myself the whole half mile walk to the corner. And I get there and he's like, stand right here. And I'm like, well, Walgreens is that way. He goes, just stand here. And he gets down on like a knee. And I don't have a lot of vision. I thought, why is he tying his shoe?
Oh
And I didn't realize. And then he whips out this ring box. But
no.
the reason he picked that corner, he's a very big romantic. He picked that corner because that's the corner we first met on the first time we ever met. So
Aw.
he proposed in the same spot and whipped out a beautiful ring. And I said yes. And all of a sudden, I hear all this cheering. Well, my family and friends were all gathered in the bank parking lot filming it.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, that's how we got started. And we married. We only had a 2 month engagement. At our age, we don't want to waste time. And so we got married on the summer solstice, June 21st at sunset on Fort Myers Beach.
Oh, I know. I saw the pictures on your Facebook and I was like, oh my God, how beautiful. It was
Thank
it was pleasantly simple and very elegant.
It was very beautifully simple. I love simple.
Yeah.
A lot of us first time brides, we had the 200 guests and the sit
Right.
down plated dinner. And I'm like, I want this easy peasy. And my daughter, who also is a notary public, she wrote the nuptials. And when we first met, we had different guide dogs. I had my first guide dog, Eddie, from Southeastern Guide Dogs, which is now Guide Dogs Inc.
Oh.
And he had Solo, which was from Leader Dog. And she, incorporated that in the vow saying that, we had a little moment of silence because my Eddie's in heaven. And she
Oh.
said, Eddie and Solo literally guided them together.
Oh,
There wasn't a dry eye.
that's so beautiful. It's so sweet that you guys like incorporated the guide dogs because I think what people don't realize is when you have a guide dog, that's like your child and it's a family member. It's even more than a pet. I think it's a level above that because they actually save your life.
Absolutely true. They do. They give you another layer of independence. And for me, it helped a lot with anxiety. So just having that companion, and he was like the one that walked me down the proverbial aisle down the beach. I mean, it was amazing. But yes, they're more than a pet or a mobility device. They are attached to your heart in a way you just don't can't imagine unless you've experienced it.
Right, right, exactly. Well, I wanted to breach one subject here because I think that there are people who don't realize that people who are blind get married. And listening to you and talking about your vows and how you met and everything sounds pretty much like everybody else, generically it does. And
Right,
and
right.
but people don't really realize that people who are blind get married. And you're both blind, right?
Yes, yes, we both are blind. And my first marriage was, to someone sighted. And it's funny, Renee. I mean, confession, I really never planned on dating someone blind. I thought I want somebody that can drive. So, the heart wants what the heart wants. But one thing cool about it that I can maybe other blind people can relate to, if you've ever dated, been married, or had a partner, sometimes sighted people don't always get us, or sometimes they get a little frustrated. And I find with us both being blind, we both bring our strengths and weaknesses to the table, and what he may can do well, I can't, and vice versa. So in that additional union, it's amazing. I mean, he's super independent. He goes tandem snow skiing twice a year.
Oh,
He
wow.
travels to Virginia for work. I've hiked 67 miles of the Appalachian Trail plus the part of the Alps in Austria and
Oh,
Mount
wow.
McKinley and, Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. So we're both very independent in different ways. And just the way we help each other around the house. And of course, with the amazing assistive technology we have today, it just brings a whole different level of our independence and quality
It
of life.
opens up the world, doesn't it, for people
Yes,
blind?
yes. But no, I encourage if you're visually impaired, still get out there and date and meet people and have them meet you where you are. Be yourself. They need to know your strengths and weaknesses just like you need to know theirs. It's no different.
Right, right. And that you make a good point because that's interesting. What one can do, the other one might not be able to. So you sort of exchange skills and everything.
Absolutely, we do. It is just that has fascinated me more than because we both love to cook. We just love to cook. So there's just so and gardening and things, and it's just interesting how we worked in tandem.
Now, if you both love to cook, do you both like being in the kitchen together, or are you guys like solo cooks?
No, we do both. We cook together a lot. He just wants to know when I have a knife in my hand because sometimes I turn around holding it because I lived alone for 10 years, so I'll swing around and he's like, ah.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
Because
Oh
I can't see, he can see better. He sees more than I do. I have no peripheral at all. So I'm like, where are you?
most people want to know if their spouse has a knife in their hand, but for different reasons.
It's funny, you're right. Oh
Oh
my
my
goodness.
gosh. Well,
So those are the little funny moments in, a blind couple's life.
right. Well, you know what? I think that can be in a sighted person's life too, because like I don't know. I'm not with anyone here except for my dog Brownie. And I don't know how I'd feel having someone in the kitchen with me because I'm so used to just doing my thing, and I sort of lose myself in my cooking. So I don't know how I'd be with someone in the kitchen with me, but like, I'm sure you guys have a good time.
Yes, we do. And we're, several feet apart. We set up our own little stations because
Oh,
whatever we're both prepping and working on, we gather our ingredients in advance and have everything there. So we're both doing it's in the kitchen together, but we're both prepping a different part of the meal.
wow. Well, you sent over something that you were cooking today. Tell our listeners what you were doing today. Sounded like, wow, it sounds like you're creating something in a restaurant.
Well, I wanted to make something good for Friday night dinner, right? So yes, I have a super easy crock pot beef burgundy recipe. And I just have the grocery store cut the chuck roast up in, 1 inch, 2 inch cubes in advance.
Oh,
And
yum.
it's the recipe's by the Pioneer Woman, so if anybody wants to Google it, but it's her beef burgundy and it's just absolutely great. And I'm a Southern girl and was, like I mentioned in our cook and when I cooked for you in the YouTube video,
Right,
um,
right. Our
I'm a farmer's daughter, so fresh peaches from Georgia are coming in season. So I'm going to make a homemade Bisquick peach cobbler for dessert using fresh peaches. And it's a super simple 4 ingredient throw together. It's a forgiving recipe.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what? It's funny, all my life, coming from the Midwest in Wisconsin, all of my life I've heard about peach cobbler, and I thought it was something difficult to make. Then one day, someone on our show made it, and it was like, wow, this is like unbelievably easy.
It is. I know, you just, a cup of Bisquick, a cup of milk, whisk that together, mix your fresh peaches with, I don't use a full cup of sugar. I use 3/4. Toss that all together and spoon that over that batter and put in a stick of melted butter, boom, in the oven, and it just flips the crust over to the top, and it's beautiful and easy.
Yeah, and it tastes so good. And those peaches probably have some health benefits.
Sure. The sugar, maybe not so much, but like I say, I do cut it back a little bit. So, but
Right.
and a little cinnamon or nutmeg, whichever you prefer. Good scoop of vanilla ice cream. Oh, yes.
Well, I think I'd rather have real sugar than any of I know there are people who have to have some of the sugar substitutes and for health reasons, and I understand, but I think that having sugar instead of a substitute is
I
probably better
agree.
for you.
I agree totally. I mean, again, my grandmothers both lived well into their 90s,
Yep.
and I mean, I come from, Palm Beach County. My dad was grew sugar cane, so you better not have sweet and low at the table. So
Be
yeah,
a
but
little
it's
slap in the
it's
face.
anything in moderation. I really believe that. And I do believe the natural ingredients are the healthiest way to go. And even though again, visually impaired, we can cook healthy.
Sure, sure. Well, I don't know if you're on our Cooking Without Looking uh, on our page, our group, but it's funny. I wrote an article a couple of weeks ago about like, well, eating healthy is just a matter of thinking because, you know, our thoughts and what we love are also healthy, and if you're taking away all of your favorite things and never eating them again because you think you're being healthy, well, that's not healthy eating either. If you love gravy as I do, or
Mhm.
chocolate, but not
Mhm.
together, honestly, you know, I if you were to take that away from me, it's like, well, why am I living?
Exactly. I love that. Yeah, and that you put that so well because, we need to be healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And if you feel deprived, it's all about portion control. I mean, have a slice of cake, just don't eat the whole cake
You're right.
or on the same day.
That's right. I like that one meme. What is it about? Well, if I eat the whole cake, does that mean I only had one piece?
Love that. Love those workarounds people find.
I know. A little mind bending there.
Exactly. I love that. Oh my.
But but no, but do you what are some of the funny things? Has anyone said anything funny to you about being married or having before you got married a boyfriend and you're both blind? Do people say weird things to you?
Not to my face.
What what was the weirdest one behind your back?
I mean, you don't know what they, right. I mean, no, they mostly people, they're so in awe that we just hop in a Lyft or an Uber or the bus and go. And I think we go more than some of my, sighted friends and stuff. And they're
I'm
just,
sure
I
you
think they're
do.
more in awe of what we do versus what we don't do.
Right, right, exactly. Because the things that you mentioned that you and your husband do are things that I'm sure I know I haven't done them. I've skied a little, but I'm horrible. The tree stopped me. But
Oh,
no, it was
that's another podcast.
it was actually sort of funny. Even at the time, I've got a wacky sense of humor. But I think that people have a tendency. n- I mean, the stuff you guys did is, I'm sure most sighted people don't do that either. And I know I haven't, but you guys are sound adventurous.
Oh, yes. And he's, I mean, I've always just gone with other sighted people to help spot me on the trail, but he actually does research and goes to, places where they have, a day, Vermont Adaptive Ski. I'll get a plug in for them. They have a day for
Nice.
blind skiers, or a whole weekend, I should say. And he goes almost every year. He's very big into that. And then there's another one in Colorado. So, and I mean, it's a big part of it is paid for, by the organizations, and it's a good. I'd say, hey, if you're interested and want to try it, get the information and reach out to them, because
I get
there's no
name
reason we can't try things that are safe. That that you have a guide. Maybe I've never snow skied and this would be cool. So yeah, getting out and doing things is very, very important. But like I say, I think people are more amazed at what we do. Now, when he was trimming some bushes a few months ago for me, doing honeydew, practicing for asking me to marry him to see how big the honeydew list would be. He accidentally cut the Xfinity cable to my house. And I
No.
work from home, so I kind of need my Xfinity Wi-Fi. So
Yeah, I know.
he had to go get a sighted neighbor to help him splice it back together to kind of, duct tape it until Xfinity could actually do a real repair. So there's moments we do need sighted help from our neighborhood.
Yeah, and there's no shame in asking someone for help. I think lots of people probably try and help more than you would like, right?
Yes. You mean like my daughter taking away my hedge clippers?
No, she
She ban
didn't.
she banned me, yeah, because I think I hat racked the poor little hibiscus bush and she took them home with her. She said, "You don't need these anymore."
Oh no, that would drive me totally crazy,
Yes.
actually.
Oh, how much do you want to bet I've already ordered a new pair from Lowe's?
Not betting at all. Pretty much no, you did it.
Yes. Shh. Don't tell her to listen to this podcast.
I don't know if she's in my friends group on Facebook, but oh my God, that's so funny. Well, you know what? The weirdest thing is, I a lot of times people will call me for like help, and I had this one lady call me. She had gone blind, and her daughter and her son-in-law or whatever took her stove away because they were afraid of her burning
Oh,
herself. And she loved to cook. Now imagine you and I love to cook, and imagine someone taking your stove away and how like annoying. And the lady felt so bad. So I go, well, here, let me please, I'll call her and I'll talk to her. So I did, I talked to her and I said basically that, most sighted people do more things in the kitchen to hurt themselves because they think they nothing's going to happen to them. But blind people are actually trained in the kitchen. So
Right.
last I heard, they brought the stove back.
Thank goodness that has a happy ending. And you make such a good point. And I've looked at a lot of your guests on the Cooking Without Looking YouTube channel, and we all have the same common denominator, same common thread, gathering things in advance, knowing where our hardware is and how to use it and using our hands. I mean, you had one guest saying she wished she had an extra hand. And, so we all definitely were trained the same way. And we do use the importance of touch and smell and having everything measured and lined up and ready so we're not getting, extra. I mean, I remember my mom running all over the kitchen to find things one at a time. It was like, goodness.
Well, that's something I learned. People always ask me what I've learned from doing the show, and that's something I've learned for myself. I get everything that mise en place, I get everything out, have them all organized because I would drive myself crazy, and I might forget on the way to pick up one thing and get another, so um it's good for everybody. Most of these tips can be used for everybody and makes it easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely, they can.
Well, do you have another recipe for us, or you just wanted to give the peach cobbler recipe?
It's the peach cobbler. That's the one I had on the beef burgundies. I have to kind of look at some of the ingredients.
Oh yeah, that's much harder. It's like you had one difficult recipe and one sort
Yeah,
of
and an
easy.
easy dessert.
Yeah. It's like, that's an easy one. And usually, outside of the fresh peaches, usually those are things you have right in your kitchen all the.
Right. And it works just as well with canned peaches or even frozen peaches. Or,
Oh,
you can use apples or, blueberries and blackberries. Again, it's just get creative.
yeah, yeah. That's the point because I feel bad for some of those people who think you have to do everything by the book or whatever you saw on whatever cooking show you watch, except for us.
Mhm.
But but I always tell people to be creative and also remember you can substitute things in being creative. You can substitute like yesterday I was making some chocolate cookies. I made the dough first yesterday and then today I baked them and I didn't have butter, but I didn't really feel like going to the store. I know a lot of people just can't jump in the car, in our group because they're blind or visually impaired and you have to do things ahead of time. But substituting is a great way of being creative, but also, not worrying so much about that recipe as your Bible. So I didn't have the butter, as much butter as they wanted. So what I did was I Googled substitutes for butter in the recipe, and I had cream cheese. And actually, I liked the cream cheese better than the butter, and the cookies turned out better.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow, that is so awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can use smashed bananas too.
Oh man. Well, I've done that with, maybe a sour cream pound cake. I'll use cream cheese instead of the sour cream. Yeah. So yeah, again, be flexible.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to drive yourself crazy. You're not going to be like that chef that you see on Food Network. Be yourself. That's probably even better a lot of times.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that's how, I think new recipes are born is because we decide to mix it up.
Right, right, exactly. And sometimes I'll just try something because I have this little group, an interest group with Blind United the first Tuesday of the month, and it's a
Nice.
cook along. So we share different things, and I actually on purpose sometimes use different ingredients so that I can get it across to people. Listen, you can substitute, and that's part of your creativity. Um,
Sure,
and
sure.
it makes life in the kitchen a lot more enjoyable when you're not like just like hell bent on doing exactly what that recipe tells you, have anxiety attacks.
Yeah, if you don't have raisins, throw craisins in there. Yeah, exactly. If you want to throw some M&Ms into your Toll House cookie dough, go for it.
Right, right, exactly. Well, and tell us how people can reach out to you. You're at the Lighthouse of the Palm Beaches.
I am. I am definitely at the Lighthouse or the Palm Beaches. I'm an assistive technology specialist, which I absolutely love. I first started with them as a client many years ago and was sort of born into the role. And I'm very appreciative to be where I am because I definitely believe in paying it forward. And, I truly feel that the training I got at that agency really gave me back my life because I was just didn't know what to do with myself as a blind person, because there was just you don't know what you don't know, Renee? And then they introduced you to a whole new way of thinking and doing it, and I just couldn't stop. I just took off.
Oh,
So,
that's good. And they're really nice there. They're very modern over there.
they are. They're great. They're a great group, and I love being part of the team. And you can, if anybody wants to reach me, it's A Hatton. That's Ahatton at lhpb.org. And that's how if you ever want to reach out. And what else can I say? I'm starting a fun new project.
Oh, tell us about it.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I got to get a plug in for it. So, another visually impaired friend of mine over here just graduated with her second guide dog from the Seeing Eye in Morristown, New Jersey. And I asked her if she'd like to help me. We're going to establish a peer group of guide dog handlers here in Lee County.
Oh, that's
So
great.
we will meet in different places. We'll go tour some museums and parks and restaurants and get out to the mall. We want to show the public, how well these service dogs, a real service dog behaves and what they do for us and show our independence. So it's educating and advocating and having fun together.
That sounds great. That's amazing. And for those of you listening, please go to our website at www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com to see Anne. It's from a couple of months ago, and Anne has an amazing dish. It's like a sheet pan chicken and vegetables, but I think I'm oversimplifying it, but it looked amazing. It's easy and it's good for you and it tastes yummy too.
Thank you, Renee.
No problem. And all of you, if you want to get one of your Cooking Without Looking aprons, the official apron, it's you just email me at Renee Rentmeester. It's ReneeRentmeester at gmail.com, and I will send you the link. The link is also on our Cooking Without Looking page, our website. It's www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com. And Anne, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It was a blast.
It was a blast, Renee. Thank you so much for having me. And it was just really cool. And bye to everybody. Get your aprons. I'm going to get mine.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Anne.
And all righty, Renee, you take care. Let's talk soon.
Okay, you too.